What's up, guys? So right now I've got my whole truck kind of torn apart and empty. I'm kind of going for like my third build. I'm resetting everything because everything was just a mess after last week. And I'm going to be going camping tomorrow, so I wanted to make sure that everything was set and ready to go. But this is kind of the third way that I'm doing things, and I wanted to show you kind of how you can get started truck camping actually really easily. So it's not that hard if you're interested in truck camping. There's a lot of information on YouTube, and there's a lot of different builds that people use. And when I was first looking, I was looking at these builds, and there's some really nice ones, but different things happen, right? Like I still use my truck a lot of the time as like a daily driver. I still need it to haul things. So some of these more permanent builds don't really work for me. And, you know, I go once a week, so I am out there a lot, but I don't need anything that's going to sit in my truck forever or do that. So this is just a real easy, quick setup and quick way to get started truck camping. Of course, it all starts with your actual camper shell if you don't have one for your truck. Now, there's a lot of really nice camper shells out there on the market, and if you want to buy a new one, by all means, go ahead. I actually searched for a full year before I got mine, and I actually found mine on Craigslist, and it matches my truck perfectly. It's the right size. It even has this little jet out thing because I've got the side steps on my truck. It's the right size. It's the right color. It's beat up in the right way. Like everything matches about it. And I didn't pay $1,000 for it. So I paid, I think it was $120 or $140 to get my camper shell. So if you're looking for a camper shell, don't be afraid to try Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or something like that to look for something you can throw on your truck that's going to get you out there, get you camping, and get you having fun. As you can see, I'm washing kind of all of my cooking stuff. And this thing right here is what I first started with, and it's really nice to cook over a fire with. It's really cheap at Walmart, so if you're gonna cook over a fire, you can pick you up one of those. You can pick you up a cheap cast iron, and you're good. Now I've been, you know, doing this for a while, or at least consistently for a while now. So I did, and for a long time, I didn't want to get a camping stove. For like a really long time, I was against it. I was like, I can cook with fire. That's what I'm out there for. If you want a real easy, simple way of cooking, a classic camping stove is going to work really well for your needs. This is maybe 50 bucks. So like the difference between the camping stove and that is maybe $30. And then of course you have to buy propane to cook with things like this. But this will make your life a lot easier than cooking over a fire. Very simple to use, and just something that I do keep in the truck with me, even though I alternate. So I cook on one or the other. It just depends on what I'm making, what I feel like doing, really, and where I'm at. And you don't need much more to get started than a lighter, a hatchet, maybe a saw, a sleeping bag. Now I have other stuff that I'm trying to organize right now. But if you're just getting started and you just are trying to go for a fun weekend or whatever, you don't need all that kind of stuff. You don't need much stuff. And I have a real basic igloo cooler that I still use. I think this was 15 bucks at the store. You don't have to spend, if you're going out for a night or 2 nights, you don't have to spend $400, $500 on a cooler. You can simply buy an igloo cooler and put some ice packs in it, and you're totally good to go. I have this thing now, which comes with cups and forks and spoons and a spatula and plates. This was real cheap too, and it's, you know, it's plastic, so it's not going to get too beat up out there. You can kind of toss it around and it's going to be fine. That's a real cheap option to keep with you in the truck. I want to show you guys how I laid my bed out, but I wanted to show you one of the things that I did was I actually glued wood flooring to this piece of plywood, so I can easily slide it in and out, but it gives me a nice smooth surface to lay my bed on and everything like that. So this right here is actually just like that gym padding. These are real cheap. I always lay that layer down first just to kind of break the hardness of the wood. After I put that gym flooring in, I have this piece of foam padding. It's actually doubled up. So I fold it over on itself, and then I put that right on top of the gym flooring. So this makes it nice and soft. Then I just kind of put a set of like throwaway sheets. I mean, these are in real bad condition, just something that you can take with you camping. One day my wife was like, I'm gonna throw this blanket away. I don't want it anymore. I just don't use it. I don't really like it anymore, but it is super soft. So I throw that down. And then finally I end up putting my sleeping bag and a pillow. Now you really don't have to do all of that to set up your bed. I mean, it would suffice just to throw a sleeping bag on a nice smooth surface, right? Because when you go camping, a lot of the time you sleep on the ground, you get rocks in your back and things like that. So automatically being lifted off the ground, you're going to be more comfortable. But I like all those layers and all that cozy stuff, you know, just because I like to sleep somewhere soft. So I won't make any excuses, not trying to be tough, trying to be comfortable, right, when you're sleeping. So that's what I do in order to set up my bed. And all in all, like, the sleeping bag is the most expensive thing that I had, but I got that for Christmas. So all in all, it's like $120 to set up where I sleep, and that's including the sleeping bag. So now all I'm doing is I'm putting in these totes. And if you go to Walmart, I think, oh, I hit my knee. These are $6 each, and they hold quite a bit. So like in here, I've got like an extra blanket. Let's see, some hot hands. I got a lot of my winter stuff in here, a change of underwear. I do have a tent in case I want to go tent camping. I've got like a tire plug kit. I've just got like random gear that I don't need as bad kind of tucked away in this one. And then the far back has my tackle box in it. I do plan to fill that with like a little more fishing. And then up front in this kind of longer bin that I want to keep things more accessible, I have things that I'm going to be using more frequently. So I have, you know, gloves, my shovel, my hammock, knives, cookware, all that stuff in this one that's really nice and easy to get to. And this one has my fishing poles because it's long enough to fit them. So there you have it. If you want to get started truck camping, you really need a sleeping bag, some basic gear, and a couple of totes. But all in all, you really don't have to break the bank or spend a whole lot of money just to get started and to get out there. You need some real basic camping stuff, the truck and the camper shell, and then you're all set. So all in all you really need to do is get yourself a camper shell, get yourself a sleeping bag and some pillows, get yourself a couple of totes, and a few things that are just basic kind of normal camping supplies. And other than that, you should be all set and ready to go out for your first weekend truck camping.